All right, everybody, welcome back to Health IQ. And this week we have a special guest. We always say that, but this week, when you're looking for doctors, why not go to the top doctor in the nation? We got Dr. Vivek in the building. Doc, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. Now, you've been on this run for a past couple months now about just the effect of teenagers and the kind of the effects that it has on their mind of social media usage and everything like that. I just want to ask you, why is this such an important issue to you? Why have you been talking about this for constantly for the past few months?
Yeah, well, this is important to me, not only as Surgeon General, but as a doctor and as a dad who cares deeply and worries a lot about the youth mental health crisis that we're living through. This is the defining public health issue of our time, youth mental health. And young people all over the country are telling us through their stories, through statistics, that they are struggling, and we've got to step up and help. And as part of that effort, we've launched a number of campaigns from our office, but one of them has been to look into the deeper underlying causes of what's driving this crisis. One of the most common questions that I get around the country from parents is about social media. They ask me, is social media safe for my kids? And when we look at the data, as we did before we issued today a Surgeon General's advisory on social media and youth mental health, what we find are two critical things. One is that there is not sufficient evidence to say social media is sufficiently safe for our kids. But we also, in fact, find accumulating evidence that social media use is associated with harms for kids. So consider the fact that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media face double the risk of depression and anxiety symptoms. And when you recognize that the average amount of time that teens spend right now is 3.5 hours a day, that makes this really concerning. So this is why I'm so focused on this issue. Like, we have to look under every stone and make sure that we are understanding what's driving these youth mental health crisis, and then we've got to actually address it. And my concern, based on the data I've seen, is that social media has become one of those drivers.
And doing this research and everything like that over the last couple of years, how did you kind of address that with your children, like you personally? Like, how did you kind of handle that in a household?
Well, it's a good question, and because a lot of this is personal for a lot of us. 95% of teens are actually on social media right now, so parents all over the country are dealing with this. In my case, my kids are young; they're 5 and 6, so they don't have a social media account yet. But I will tell you that just a couple of weeks ago, my 5-year-old daughter, who's in preschool, came home and asked my wife and me if we could post a picture of her on social media, and we were stunned. She's in preschool. We've never talked to her about social media, yet she's hearing about this from kids around her. So this is pervasive, and it makes it all the more important that we help parents to navigate this. Because what's happened really for too long is we place the entire burden of navigating social media and managing it with our kids entirely on the shoulders of parents. And that's just wrong. We shouldn't do that, because this is complicated technology. It's rapidly evolving, fundamentally transforming how our kids interact with each other and see themselves in the world. Parents need support, and we've got to get it to them quickly.
And what are some of those things? What are some of those solutions for parents, I guess, of kind of managing this load for their children?
Well, there's certain steps that we need technology companies and policymakers to take. And technology companies in particular need to design their platforms with health and safety in mind, and prioritizing health and well-being as an outcome. We also need technology companies to be open and transparent with the data they have on the health impact of their platforms on kids, because independent researchers are telling us right now that they've been having a hard time getting access to that data to fully understand the impact on our children. But policymakers have a critical role here as well. They can set and establish safety standards that social media products have to meet, that will reduce their exposure, the exposure of kids to harmful content like violence and sexual content, like harassment and bullying, but that will also help protect them from excessive use, from the kind of features that platforms sometimes use that can manipulate children into spending unhealthy amount of time on these platforms. So this can happen when we have safety standards. And the truth is, we've done this before, right? We have other products that kids use, whether it's toys and car seats to cars that we think about for kids as they get older, 15, 16 years old, where we don't tell parents, you know what, go and investigate the safety of that product entirely on your own. Do your own chemical composition analysis. Look into the brake system on the car by yourself. We don't do that. We tell parents, look, you should be able to rely on safety standards that experts put in place, and that manufacturers have to comply with. And that's what we need to do here as well.
Dr. Vivek, we only have a couple more minutes here. I do want to ask you, it is Mental Health Awareness Month here in May, as we're coming up to the last couple of days. Just what are some mental health tips that you could, I know that's been a huge thing for you the past few years. What are 3 mental health tips you can give to hardworking Americans this?
Well, 3 mental health tips. Well, I would say number 1, it's okay to ask for help if you need it. I know there's a lot of stigma around mental health, but a lot of people struggle with mental health. You can't tell from the outside. Don't be ashamed if you're one of those people. Ask for help. And there's a 988 crisis line that's now available 24/7 that you can call or text if you need help. Number 2, just remember that your relationships really matter when it comes to supporting your mental health and well-being. Sometimes we withdraw from other people when we're having a hard time. It's exactly actually when we need to reach out. It turns out that small conversations with friends, that conversation with somebody at work by the water cooler, chatting with a classmate, in school, before the end of the day, these small moments of interaction, they really make a difference. And reaching out to old friends and family, even if you haven't talked to them for a while, helps you with your mental health. And finally, just realize this, that when it comes to technology, that technology can pull us in, and social media in particular can maximize and monopolize our time spent. But sometimes we need zones in our life that are free of technology, where we can just fully connect with somebody else, give them our full attention, where we can process and think and just be on our own, where we can experience nature and take a walk. So have some zones in your life that are technology free, even if it's for a few minutes a day, and that can help you as well. So these are 3 simple things that you can do in your day-to-day life that may help you with your mental health. It's more important than ever before. A lot of people are struggling, but remember, there's no shame in having challenges with your mental health. You're not alone. A lot of people are having a tough time, but there is help available. We want people to know that.
Well, Dr. Vivek, we appreciate the time so much, stopping out of your busy schedule just to talk to us here at Health IQ. U.S. Surgeon General, everybody, Dr. Vivek in the building. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, thanks so much. Good to see you again. Take care.
Likewise. Take care.